Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us and welcome if you've just tuned in. The ANC Women's League's National Task Team says it distanced itself from an article published by independent online news after ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa was accused of destroying the party's various leagues. For more on this, we're joined by the ANC Women's League's Bathabile Dlamini. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, you speak about distancing yourself from some of the revelations, speaking to the role that President Cyril Ramaphosa is playing within the leagues. What is your bone of contention?
Good afternoon to you, Paul, and the view. Firstly, I wasn't talking on behalf of the entity, and they might respond. It's up to them to respond, but I'm a member of the ANC. I have views. And if I'm asked questions, I'm going to respond. So I never said I was speaking on behalf of the entity. So actually, Comrade Harry Gwala taught me a lesson that if you are a leader, you don't answer everything that is said by people. So I don't think the response of the entity requires or deserves my response.
So your bottom line feeling about the nature of leagues within the ANC, where does that stand? I mean, we are not hearing the strong voice of the ANC Youth League, and, you know, in the wake of, for instance, I mean, the 6 decomposing bodies that were found in the Joburg CBD, and the widespread condemnation around why policy is taking so long, why the decriminalization process of sex work has not been speeded and come to the forefront. I mean, one could say that the ANC Women's League's voice has not been strong enough or even absent.
Long-standing and seasoned cadres of the ANC understand the contribution that is made by the leagues towards the hegemony of the African National Congress itself and the society at large, because we are there to fight the issues of women. The issues of sex workers have been raised in the meetings of the African National Congress. And we started at the last, not this policy conference, in the previous policy conference preceding the Newzroom conference on the issues of sex work, because they are deemed criminals, and therefore they cannot raise their issues when they are attacked. And for us to be able or to enable them to speak on their issues, we need a strong voice that is going to raise their issues within the structures of the movement, so that the process moves very fast. I think we all know the role that was played by the late convener of the Progressive Women's Movement, Professor Shengiwe. May her soul rest in peace on this issue. And it is because we identified that the challenge that are facing sex are due to the fact that people that in power are mostly patriarchal people, and they want to defend themselves, because we know how patriarchy works. And for them to be looked at as very clean, women must be oppressed. And this issue is about oppression of women. And as sex workers cannot speak for themselves, and we are also quiet. We are not, we have to come up and fight what is happening, because before you are a sex worker, you are a woman. So we expect the women's movement to come very hard on issues that affect women.
So you say that you have to come out. I mean, Bathabile, Dlamini, you're saying all the right things. You're saying that you have to come out, but we haven't seen you. Have we not seen you because of how perhaps you believe that President Cyril Ramaphosa has destroyed the leagues? There seems to be a loophole here. Why have we not seen the league? I mean, you're saying all the right things, but we have not seen the Women's League. We didn't see the Women's League outside court when the 20-year suspect was arrested with the linkage to the murders or the discovery of these bodies that were found in the Joburg CBD.
They are as and if you are appointed at lead, you don't only go to areas where it is nice. You don't only go to TV to fight other women. You go out and fight for the emancipation of women. You don't make other women your enemy. And it's very hard to fight in a situation where your very own are identifying you and are fighting toe-to-toe, working with men to destroy you. It's very hard. But also, when a leader are appointed, you expect them to lead all of you. And they know the strength of each and every one of us. So if they come out and say, you've been very weak, you've not been doing everything, instead of building on what you tried to build, women are going to take a step back and look at you. And I think this is what is happening right now. And we expect leaders not just to come out and themselves from something that does not concern them. We expect them to lead and ensure that the struggle for women's emancipation continues. That is what is important.
So, with what you're saying, the countdown to the 55th National Conference to elect new party leaders for the ANC has begun in earnest. And effectively, if I understand you correctly, you're saying that you're being silenced within the environment, and you cannot, perhaps also speaking to low morale. You have all the answers, but there is no movement from your end because of the nature of the atmosphere and the party. What does it mean now for the future of women in positions with all of this that is hanging, over the Women's League?
The issue of positions in the ANC is actually, we must get very worried. We have not had such a situation where we don't know where we are going. Just before the conference. Secondly, since the unbanning of the ANC, you've never had a situation where people come up before the second term to say they are challenging the present leadership of the time. It's happening for the first time. In big numbers. It has happened before, but not in such a big numbers. Number three, you've not had a situation of just seeing people in posters, all of them saying they are standing. There's been a procedure and protocol in the ANC. And there's never been a situation where every Tom, Dick and Harry wants to be in the officials of the African National Congress. We've had leaders in the ANC and well-renowned leaders that were never officials, but they knew they were leaders of the ANC. And the whole thing is worrying people that were never in the BEC, never in the REC, never in the PEC, wanting to be in the NEC. And I'm not against young people being in the NEC, but there is a process of nullifying leadership of the ANC through demanding things that have never happened before, things that are going to juniorize the ANC and make it lose its impact and the support that it has always had in the society. We must remember the ANC is the leader of the society. So all these things that are happening are worrisome. And all South Africans must be concerned about this, because the ANC is a people's organization. It is their movement. I'm not talking about people that were, for instance, in the leadership of the Youth League in the NEC and took other routes and are now ready to be in the NEC. I'm talking about people that are in branches or have never even led a branch, but now want to be in the National Executive Committee. It looks like the ANC is being nullified and it is killed in the process. Everyone is pushing. And is it because there are blue lights? Is it because people talk about money as soon as you get elected? What is really going on? Is this what we are looking forward to as the African National Congress?
Now, the ANC Women's League currently does not have a president. With the conference only a month and a half away, what's likely to happen in terms of leadership? Will the ANC Women's League go into conference without appointing leadership?
Yes, it will go to the conference. We are a province as the ANC Women's League, and we have a delegation that will attend a conference. And what is also important is that before we are members of the Women's League, we are members of the ANC. But what usually happens is that we come together and speak on women's issues first, not just for position. Being in the Women's League does not mean that you have to use the Women's League as a stepping stone to be elected ANC. But we have to speak about decisions that are going to be taken there. How are they going to favor women, and which women are best placed to be in the National Executive Committee, and what is it that they are going to do to change the quality of lives of women? Because our deployment to all positions is not about us. It is about women. So there are also new things that we have to look into. For instance, accountability. How do we ensure that the women we elect account to women and say what they have done to change the quality of lives? And how do you ensure that you elect women that are not going to be in between your journey, change against you, and side with men? And I'm not saying that we cannot work with men, but we have to work with progressive men that support the struggle for gender equality and equity.
Are you not feeling that support in terms of leadership under President Cyril Ramaphosa?
I don't want to talk about that, but I look at women that have suffered during the past years. Let's look at those women. But also, I also look at we've never had a situation. For instance, we used to have differences with Madiba, and he did not respond us. When Comrade Nosiviwe became the president, the first decision she implemented was that of Lawal, and who was going to be killed, and we had to go to Nigeria. The leadership was not happy about that because there was no work prepared for that intervention. But Comrade Nosiviwe said, no, but this is about us. We are going there. We must fight that. And there was no bad blood between the Women's League and the leadership. And so we've always, and during the following years, there were also differences. But this time, this National Executive Committee came decision to disband the Women's League. And it was said it was because of we have exceeded our term of office, and the executive before us had exceeded its term of office, and nothing happened to it. So, okay, leaders have different styles of leading, but you cannot disband the backbone of the organization, because women are good in mobilization. So if you destroy that arm, we have the experience of the Youth League. When you disband a structure, it takes a long time to build that structure. So it's not going to take 3 months to rebuild the Women's League. The ANC is going to suffer a lot through that decision. So it's not even about because this is not about individuals. If you have a problem with the president of the Women's League, why are you not asking the president of the Women's League to give way and leave
Bathabile Dlamini, we're going to have to leave it there for now, but I'm thanking you for your time and weighing in on this discussion. That was Bathabile Dlamini of the ANC's Women's League speaking to us there about some utterances that were made, not really going into naming, but of course giving you a sense of the feeling.